Well, let's get more on this now. Matthew Elliott is Chief Executive of Business for Britain and has written a piece in today's Times telling the Labour leader what he should do if he wants to win the next election. And Kate Hudson is the co-founder of Left Unity, which is campaigning for a new party of the left. Good afternoon to you both. Matthew Elliott, to you first. Labour's been accused of being invisible over the summer. Ed Miliband's now back from his holiday. What does he need to do to try and seize the initiative?
I think it's fair to say they have been pretty quiet, and traditionally oppositions have tried to make hay over the summer and really dominate the headlines, and they haven't really done this year, which is a mistake, I think. But I think they need to really have a look at policy now. The central principle of the squeeze middle, and Ed Miliband talking about how he needs to really concentrate on the squeeze middle, rising cost of living, that's correct. Now he needs to flesh out some more policies, though.
They tried to. I mean, as we were hearing there from Matthew, Kate, they need to come out with some more policies. They tried to do that yesterday, didn't they, with immigration, and that went horribly wrong.
Well, of course, our concern is that in the past, Labour has stood up for ordinary people. Labour founded and has defended the welfare state in the past, but now it seems that in pursuit of votes, it seems to be moving further and further to the right, accepting the Tory agenda, and now joining in with a tax on the welfare state. It's going to refuse to overturn Tory cuts and so on. So when we come to the next election and after, who is going to be standing up for ordinary people?
Do you think people know what Labour stand for anymore?
Well, I don't think they do, because it was founded by the trade unions. It did set up the welfare state after the Second World War. It helped to contribute to free education, to improving living standards, expanding equal opportunities. But over the last 20 years, it's moved further and further to the right. And many people say, well, why should I bother to vote? All three main parties are the same. So what about ordinary people who want to defend their NHS? Where do they turn?
I think Kate is right to say they should stand up for ordinary people, and today, for example, we hear a lot about rail fares going up. So why, for example, doesn't Labour go with a policy to reduce rail fares, to improve the rolling stock?
But aren't they then being reactionary rather than proactive? So they're waiting for things to happen and then reacting to that. Should they not be coming out and setting out their stall accordingly?
They definitely need to be much more proactive. So, for example, I think they should come out against high-speed rail. And Peter Mandelson says the same thing, and Alistair Darling, what have you. And that would release about £60 billion worth of money that could be spent on, for example, improving the railway system or helping ordinary people. So getting back to those values of helping ordinary people would be a good thing.
Is the problem, a lot of talk about a reshuffle on the cards. Is the problem that there's too much hangover from Gordon Brown, not enough new, or is the problem Ed Miliband's the wrong man?
Well, I think there's too much tailing of Tory party policies. Labour has, or should have, a distinct vision. It's had a very clear vision in the past about making a fairer, more decent society. Yet we see a situation where the rich are richer than ever. But Labour doesn't seem to be coming up with alternative economic policies to make our society more decent and fair. It seems to be supporting that Tory direction. And that is not in the interests of the majority of people. And many people are now refusing to go out and vote. They're voting with their feet, not going to the ballot box.
Matthew, Kate, they're saying that Labour are very much leaning to the right. Should they be heading back left?
We have to remember there isn't very much money to play with because the deficit is still very high, £120 billion a year. The debt interest repayments next year will be £50 billion, which is more than the education budget. So there isn't actually that much spending to play with. And that's why I would say they need to find some more savings elsewhere.
Well, what about the economy? Because according to the ICM poll, people still don't trust Labour on the economy. They have failed to get that message across, haven't they?
That's very true, and it's traditionally the case that if a party isn't trusted on the economy, it doesn't win the election. So they really do need to make a lot more effort actually getting that message out. But I think they'll do that if they concentrate on ordinary people, talking about the squeeze middle, talk about how their policies will actually help ordinary people in their everyday lives.
Kate, do you think that they need to choose their battles more effectively? They're obviously losing when it comes to public opinion on the economy because the Tories' answer will always be, well, you ruined the economy in the first place. It always comes back to that argument. Do they need to choose their battles more wisely?
I think they need to stop having their agenda set by the Tories. If they do that, they'll just keep on trying to explain how they can do Tory-style policies better, and that is not going to take us forward. They have to set out their stall very clearly for alternative economic policies, how they can manage the economy better and differently, and give people a real alternative.
Okay. Kate Hudson, Matthew Elliott, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.